Right guys, welcome now to another Fidge Friday, and so many questions to get through. Such a lovely day outside. Let's absolutely smash through them, get through as many as possible, and have a jolly good old time. It's your weekly questions and answers. It's a new intro. Nicholas Chan, any tips for staying in golf shape while in college? Just practice and play, Nicholas, no shortcuts on this one. Jamie Galbraith, at what age did you realise that you can make money from the game, as in from golf, coaching or playing? I mean, it was pretty obvious that straight away when you start playing golf as a junior. I was lucky enough to get a membership at a private club, Preston Golf Club up here in Preston, for pretty cheap money. But you take one look around a private golf course and you know there's kind of some money swimming around. But getting into golf, that was never really the motivation. I just enjoyed the game. Moving forward from that, if you do something which you really enjoy and other people enjoy what you're doing as well, the chances are you're going to make money from it anyway. I wouldn't advise anyone to go into something just for the sake of making money, because unless that is the only thing that you enjoy, you're not going to get that much satisfaction from it. So I'm pretty lucky. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm lucky to be comfortable in my life at the moment. But more importantly, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and that's the key. That's the key. Sean Lemon, which shape do you prefer, draw or fade? I prefer the draw shape. It's a more powerful flight, in my opinion. Tends to go a little bit further, and it feels nicer off the club when you strike a good draw. However, saying that, I am more of a natural fader of the golf ball. Maybe it's one of those things that I kind of like what I didn't have, if that makes sense. Ali Hutchinson, how are you finding the PSI irons in comparison to the S56s on off-centered strikes? Ali. I don't strike off-center. Other than that, yeah, better. And to be fair, the feel of the new PSIs, because they're forged compared to the cast S56s, so much better, so much better. Kent A. Dolby, Kent, what is your impression of the Titleist Performance Institute, so MyTPI? If you go onto the MyTPI website, very good. I mean, if you're looking for golf fitness related exercises that you can do, go onto there. I'm not sure if it's all free or if there's like a paid thing in there now, I can't remember, but the actual website there is very good stuff. So yeah, by all means, I do recommend it for anyone who wants to have a look into the fitness side of golf. Jack Williams, what is your practice routine for quests for the Open? It's one thing that I need to practice, getting a proper practice routine, because at this moment in time, the way I'm doing my practice regime for the quest videos and the entire quest in its entirety is I'm playing, looking at my weaknesses, and then working on them weaknesses in between tournaments, which isn't a bad thing to do, but kind of like today, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to eke out time. So I'm filming this video in the morning here. I'm going to edit it, get it uploaded, then go over to St. Anton Links, and today's a short game day, so just on putting pretty much, and then out to the course to do some playing and some more filming. So it's kind of just cramming in the practice at the moment in time, which probably won't be able to change for the rest of the year because there's that much stuff going on. But if you want to really plan a routine, a practice routine, it is possible. It's just something I've not done. It's just sitting down and really kind of going through it bit by bit. It's certainly something I need to look into and improve on myself, but it's the same with anything. You know, you can always be better at that. Gary Potter, ever seen anyone hitting balls on a range whilst very drunk? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. David Polito, are sensors, hey David, are sensors those installed in the butt end of handles trustworthy for swing data? It's kind of like anything really. I mean, with launch monitors, and swing devices, so Zeps, which go on the glove, and I think it's Swing Torque, which is the main one, which goes in the end of the shaft, but there's loads of them around. They're never going to be 100% accurate. Nothing ever is. Probably the most accurate launch monitor out there at the moment is probably the GC2 HMT. However, what that doesn't do is give real ball data. So although that's the most accurate because it's all closed data, sometimes it doesn't relate to what you're seeing, say, on driving range when you're using it. So there's no 100% fail-safe system. but some systems are more accurate than others. So say with my kind of flight scope, it's pretty easy to see. Let's say someone hits 10 shots in a row, it gives the data. And because I've used it for a long time now, I'm looking at the ball flight, I'm looking at the numbers, and it all makes sense and it all kind of matches together. Then on the 11th shot, say if there's a real difference in the numbers, a real abnormality, you can have a look at that and say, well, actually, that's probably a false reading and get rid of it. So no machine is 100% accurate. Even the GC2 has misfires. So what you are investing in is a good product, which will probably work 95% of the time. And the more and more you use it, the more and more you'll get used to the slight discrepancies that it gives. Rick Slade, is it wrong that some tour players don't shout FORE? Yeah, absolutely. This is something I don't really understand. I mean, if your ball is heading towards spectators, I mean, let's give some people the benefit of the doubt. If they're hitting it around the corner, they're not quite sure who's standing there, they're a little bit unsighted, yeah, absolutely fine. But if you hit a shot and it's heading towards people, surely your instinctive reaction is to warn those people that the ball is coming their way. Now, at the end of the day, people don't have the same eyes that the TV cameras have. When someone hits a drive from 280 yards away, you can't see it in the air, so you've no real idea of where it's going. So you need to be warned. I mean, I quite liked, I think it was Dennis Pugh who was saying this on Twitter the other day, that Shane Lowry, when he had his little outburst a few weeks ago when he hit a ball into the water, had a few naughty words to say on TV, they didn't harm anyone. A few people might have got offended, but it didn't harm anyone. However, if a player hits a ball into a crowd, cracks someone on the skull, that's fine if they don't shout FORE. So there's something wrong with that. I think, like Dennis Pugh was saying, why don't people get fined if they don't shout FORE if the ball's heading towards people? It's not a terrible idea. There's obviously some issues around that as well, but yeah, it does bother me. It does bother me. Jack Wilson, how was your time at Myerscough College and what was your best experience / life lesson you got from it? So I went to Myerscough College, which is like a sports college in Preston, and my subject was golf, obviously. And this probably goes out to a lot of people who are thinking about going to college to kind of study golf or kind of enroll in a course which allows them to play in the golf team, say, in the United States. I certainly didn't make the most out of my experience at Myerscough as far as getting what I could from the teachers. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy school that much. I just didn't like the whole environment. I'm not massively keen on the way education is structured, if I'm being honest with you. But I didn't probably gain as much from it as I could. I did gain some good swing insights, some practice insights, stuff about nutrition and fitness. But I think I've learned more about golf and more about pretty much everything since I left school, to be honest, since I've actually been living. Matthew B. Org, when using a driver, I have a tendency to hook or draw the ball. It sometimes starts left, but also mostly curves left. If I move the ball back in my stance, it doesn't happen, but lose distance. This only happens with my driver. My instructor says I'm probably shutting down the face with my driver. Help. If that's all your instructor is telling you, then I'd probably try and find a different instructor for a start. If you're going to move the ball back in your stance but it's going less distant, I'm guessing you could be possibly coming a little bit more from the inside, which is making the path more in to out, which is neutralising the club face, but then that's also possibly increasing a bit of spin if you're striking down on it. It's impossible to see without kind of seeing you swing. Jump onto the online lessons, do it that way. Or if not, get yourself another instructor. Nick Adams, what is the cause of your G driver breaking? Is it a common problem? Should I not look at buying one now? It's just one of those things. The driver that I got was the one that I tested in Arizona. So that was shipped over to the UK and then shipped over to me. And somewhere along the way, it must have just taken a knock and been kind of weakened where the shaft goes into the hosel. So I've hit a great drive, just leant down to get the tee, rested on it, and the shaft has just snapped where it kind of goes into the hosel. So it's just one of those things, really. It's certainly not a common problem, and it shouldn't put you off buying the driver. And Ping have been great. They've already sent me a new shaft out. Having said that, I played with my M1 again the other day, and I hit it really well. So this conundrum rolls forward. Maybe I'll ditch them both, just get something different. Stephen Stewart, So with the risk of a new startup with Rick, good move, question mark. If so, why? What's the difference? And taking the risk, should people take the same? Cheers and all the best, Steve. Yeah, the whole risk of kind of moving from Trafford to the Quest Studio is definitely 100% worth it, because for the first time, I think, ever, we are pretty much totally our own bosses. So purely self-employed, we teach a lot less hours, but the quality of those lessons is improved. We get to see people from all over the country and beyond, which is amazing. And the studio that we built there is great, and it just gives us the freedom to do what we want and to film as much as we want, and it's a much better quality now of life that we're living as opposed to Trafford. Trafford was fantastic as far as kind of the amount of lessons that we were doing. I mean, in those 2 years, and Rick in those 5 years, and in those 2 years, I probably gave more golf lessons than most teaching pros would in 10 years. It was that intensive. But it was just so intensive, and the filming was so intensive on top of it, that just didn't do anything else. You know, and making this move is all about just getting the balance right and just making sure that there's no burnout. You know, the last thing I want is to, if I stayed at Trafford in 2 years, to turn around and say, you know what, I just don't enjoy this anymore, and just disappearing off the face of the earth. So it's definitely given me a much better balance.
Hi Pete, I'm currently doing some training and practicing my golf as I'm going to do the Macmillan Longest Day Golf Challenge, where I'll be playing 72 holes in one day. And I was just wondering, what kind of practice and what kind of training would you do if you were playing 72 holes in one day? Cheers.
Thank you, Daniel, for that question. Well, a simple way to answer that is I have done the Macmillan 72-hole challenge before, and it's a great thing to do for a great cause over here in the UK. Macmillan kind of provide nurses to support people suffering through cancer, and it's something which, you know, has helped a lot of people I know, and it's a great cause. It is a great cause, and it's something that I've done before, like I said. As far as preparing for it, it's tricky. I mean, the ideal thing to do is just get miles in your legs. When I went out to do it, I had an electric trolley, and I also had a caddy different caddies for three of the rounds, who just kind of came along and pushed the trolley, and yeah, just kept my spirits up really. But the only way to really kind of train for it, if you will, is to beforehand just do a lot of walking, because at the end of the day, after that day's over, depending on the course that you walk in, you know, you could have probably at the minimum you're going to have walked about 12, 15 miles. So, you know, that's the practice you need to do. In one day you're going to have to walk that much. So try and get a couple of long walks in beforehand. That's probably the only way that you're going to be able to prepare for it. Right, guys, thank you very, very much for all your questions. There's so many that I've not managed to get back to, but we've got to keep this video watchable. Please comment in the box below, let me know what you think, share the video around, and subscribe to the channel. Same again next week. Try and ask questions like Daniel did at the end there, just via video. That will be awesome. It makes it a lot more interactive. Right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.